Hi everyone, I'm here today to do another Top 10 Tuesday. A day late, I know, but I had no chance to do this yesterday. If you don't know, Top 10 Tuesday is a weekly meme hosted by the Broken the Bookish, and I will post the relevant link below in the down bar. Today's theme is Top 10 Books I Would Like to See Made into Movies. I had a really difficult time making this list because I just had so many that I wanted. It was hard to narrow it down. I love to see book to movie adaptations. I don't know why exactly, because so many times I find that, you know, the movie doesn't do the book justice or whatever. It wasn't right. It wasn't close enough to the book. The book is nearly always better, but I still like to see it, even if I don't end up actually liking the finished product. Just out of curiosity, I guess. And then a lot of times, when it is done right, it just makes the whole experience so much more amazing to see everything come to life. Before I get into the actual list, I have a couple honorable mentions that I ended up squeezing out just to make the cut, final cut down to actually 10. I don't have all the books to show you today because some of them are so far deep into this bookshelf. Every time I try to do a video and get them out, it's such a hassle to move everything and put everything back because things are just packed as tightly as they can be, and I didn't want to deal with that today. So I do have, I did get most of them out, but the first runner-up is Divergent by Veronica Roth. I highly love this book. I thought it was just action-packed and just a great... Also, the characterizations in this book are what I really loved, especially the main character of Triss, just how she grew from more of a weak to a stronger character. But I didn't include it because apparently it has been optioned to become a movie. Like, it's not going to be apparently until 2015 or something. But since it is out there and it's supposedly going to happen, I decided I could cut it out and still be fair. My next runner-up is A Thousand Splendid Suns by Khaled Hosseini. The only reason I didn't include this, even though I think it would just be amazing and heart-wrenching, is because I've seen the Kite Runner movie. And although it was a decent movie, it watered down so many aspects of that book that I'm afraid of the same thing happening with this one. I just foresee that happening, and I don't know, I don't want to. So that was my kind of reasoning for knocking this one out of the final 10. And the third and final runner-up is the Artemis Fowl series by Owen Colfer, which is back there, which is why I'm not showing it to you. I didn't include this even though I think this is like a fun kid series. One, because Artemis is I think like 11 or 12 in the first book, and I'm hesitant as to how they're going to find such a good child actor for him, because he's essentially like the villain in the first book. And he's just this really like cunning genius, and yeah, he's the bad guy in the first book, which is really weird. I just, after seeing what they did with the Percy Jackson series and aging the kids up for that, I don't really think I want to see that happen with Artemis Fowl, and I don't know, I'm hesitant about it, and even though I still would like to see the movies, I needed to cut a few of them out of the list, okay? So, that was that. Now, on to my final list of the top 10, yay! In my final list, I cheated a little bit too, because the first book is Any of the Works by Wilkie Collins. I really like his books because he really went against the norm in his female characters, and they did not adhere to the typical, Victorian woman stereotypes, and he had female acting in like the detective role in his books, which I thought was really cool. The one I have right here is No Name, which features, a woman in the main character. The other one that I would really like to see would be The Law and the Lady, which also features a female doing the sleuthing. But there's a couple more, like I like The Woman in White and The Moonstone, but those have already been done as TV movies, so I thought to be fair I'd show one of these, even though it was really like 4 or 5 books that I would like to see. I'm just gonna show the one. The next, and probably this is the one I want to see the most, is also kind of cheating, and it's Mansfield Park by Jane Austen. And this is cheating because this has already been done 3 times, and I have all of the adaptations here. There was first a BBC miniseries in 1983, I think it came out, in the 80s anyway. Then there was the terrible monstrosity and abomination that was the Patricia Rosamond Mansfield Park theatrical movie that bared little to no resemblance to the book and was just way sexed up and crazy. And then there was the 2007 ITV TV movie with Billie Piper. I think that's enough said. Although the 1983 miniseries did do justice to the book, it was quite faithful to the book. Sylvester Latuzel, who played Fanny in that role, was just not a very good actress. In that role, at least. The character was written true to Fanny the book, but the acting was just not good. And, you know, it featured the typical, like, stagey, low production values of the 80s. So I really want to see this redone with better production values and better acting to stay faithful to the book, which the 1999 and 2007 versions did not do. I think we need a real Mansfield Park to be redone. Even though I'm probably in a distinct minority for that, because a lot of people don't like Mansfield Park, but whatever. The next book I have was also kind of cheating, and it is most or any book by Georgette Heyer, who was a Regency romance author for the most part. She wrote some historical fiction and some contemporary detective novels as well in around the 1930s era, but her most popular things are her Regency romances. The one I'm showing is The Talisman Ring, which is technically pre-Regency by a little bit, but I just think this is a fun kind of romantic comedy slash mystery in this one, and it's just more of a comedy than anything else. And I think her books are just hilarious, and I love the characters, and I love her wit, and I really want to see them made into movies. I think only one of them, Arabella was made into a German movie, I think, and The Reluctant Widow was made into a movie in, like, around the time the books were coming out, so, like, probably the 30s or so, and it was just stupid. It's available, I think, still on YouTube to watch, but, apparently Georgette Heyer so hated that movie that she didn't want to see any of her other books being filmed. I don't know if that's true or not, or if I'm misremembering things that I've read, but I want to see them filmed so bad. They would just be so cute. These are, like, the only, like, romance books that I like. The next book that I would like to see is Blood Red Road by Moira Young, because if you've seen my review on this, you'll know that I just loved it, and I was so completely enthralled and glued to the page because it was just action-packed from beginning to end and unputdownable. If the movie does the book justice, I think it could just be so amazing, and it will appeal to, you know, a wide variety of viewers, because it's not like a girly book or anything, so that would be cool. The next book that I have is the Eon/Iona duology by Alison Goodman, and that's technically 2 books. That's the other one right there behind me. But whatever, let's just say Eon for now, because this is just such, like Blood Red Road, this book, well, this duology really is just, I was unable to put it down because the writing, like, made the reader, like me at least, so immersed in it. I felt like I was actually in the world, like, seeing these things and experiencing it firsthand, and I just think it's amazing, and it's a cool, like, you know, people loved Mulan, well, at least I did. That was about a girl dressing as a boy, so I think that audiences would respond well to this too, because it's such a cool book slash duology series. and it would be really cool to see, and it's one of my favorites, so of course I want to see it made into a movie. The next book that I have is Poison Study by Maria V. Snyder. Technically, this is a trilogy, so I would like to see the whole series, but maybe with a lot of cuts being made to the beginning, especially of Magic Study, and a little bit from Fire Study too. But this is my favorite one of the whole trilogy. I just thought it was so unique and original, and I would love to see Valak on screen, like who would play him, because he's just such a cool guy. I can't, but he was a really interesting character to read about, and this world was really interesting to read about. So yeah, I wanted to see it on film. And the next book I have, which it should be number 7, I think, in the list, I've lost count, is Across the Universe by Beth Revis, and this is technically a trilogy as well, but you know, I'll just show the one. And this is a dystopian sci-fi murder mystery set in space, and it just, I like the combination of genres. I like to see the dual viewpoints in this, and I just thought it was a cool book, and it would be neat to see, as long as it's done well, how Godspeed looks on screen and how all of that comes to life with the people frozen in the pods and stuff like that. That would be neat. So that's that. And number 8, I believe, is Book Thief by Marcus Zusak, which is in the back of my shelf, and I'm not gonna get it. I was kind of hesitant about including this one in the list at first too, because of the narrative voice. I don't know how that will translate to the screen, because it's told from the point of view of Death. So I don't know, are they gonna, like, would they have Death narrating it, or would they skip that part altogether? Because that's really what made it so unique and made it stand out from all the other, you know, Holocaust / World War II books out there. And there are a lot out there for the, you know, especially for kids, middle grade, and young adult readers, because I used to read quite a lot of them. That was like my favorite genre to read in middle school, partly because we had to read a lot about it, like required reading for school, a lot of novels about that time period, and that just is what made me like it and made me read a lot of those books on my own. And this one definitely stood out to me because none of them contain anything like that. And I'm hesitant about how that will play out on screen, but if it's done right, I think it could be totally amazing, just like the book was. Number 9 is Crown Jewel by Sherwood Smith. This was originally written as a duology / duet, Crown Jewel and Court Duel, which is how I originally read the book, like over 10 or so years ago. Now it is published as the 2 books in one volume, which is, I guess, how the author originally intended it to be anyway, and it was just the company's decision to split it into 2, probably for more profit. I don't know. But this is one of my favorite fantasy novels, and I think it's just, it doesn't get enough love. It's not as popular as it should be because it's amazing, and it's such a creative, inventive fantasy world, and the main character is really just kick butt, and I love her, and she's one of my favorite heroines in literature, I think. And the romance is also one of my favorite romances, and the hero, love interest guy, is also one of my favorites in that role. So I love this book, and I think it would be really cool to see it made into a film, and it would hopefully help to garner a lot of popularity for it, which I feel like it deserves. And the last book, number 10, finally, unless I missed one, I don't think so, is If I Stay by Gail Foreman, because that is such a beautiful and moving book, and I think it could be really easily well done on screen. I don't think there would be anything that would be too difficult to translate to film on there. Maybe the characters' inner thoughts or whatever, but I think it could be done, and I would love to see it done right. I haven't read the sequel yet because I've been waiting for it to come out in paperback to read it, because I want to own it, and I didn't want to buy the hardcover, and I also didn't like the cover of the sequel, but I'm really going off on a tangent here, and I apologize. I'm going to end my Top 10 Tuesday here. That's it, and I'll see you guys in my next video.